This is section 2.1, function families. Let's have our materials out because I'm going to do a materials check in a second. I should see highlighters out, calculators. Tonight's homework is page 7, numbers 28 through 45. You will be given printouts of your entire homework, of your book. I will give you a book today. That book cost me $32 per person. If you lose the book, you owe me $32. Do not lose the book, okay? Because I literally printed out the entire skills practice for the entire year. So that's why I'm going to give it to you, and you can put your name on it, you're going to claim it, you're going to bring it every day. That's instead of those 2 hideous books that you got in the beginning of the year. That's to save you the drama of having to carry that back and forth. Thank you, Ms. Riad. You're welcome. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do our homework from that today. From that book that I give you. Okay? All right. Let's just jump into the example. I need your colors out, please. Whatever I write, I need you to write. Because I already know this. I already have my 3 degrees. I need you to get this down. So let's say that I have a story to tell you, and the story can be described in this graph. Let's say that you are now 27 years old, you've gone to college, you've received your degrees, and you are now CEO of a company. That means you own a company and you are making money. Money, money, money. Lots of money. And this is a story of how much money your company is making. So please write down your company. And this next story is your friend's company, also the CEO of his company. Now, you may not be able to tell me exact numbers, but this is the story of how much money you made. You may not be able to say, Miss Riad, this is how much money I made, but if this were one full annual year, like this is the beginning of the year, what month would that be? January. This would be the middle of the year. What would that be around? June, July. And this would be the end of the year, which would be November, December. Okay? And this is how much money you made. And this is how much your friend made in his company. You may not be able to say, Miss Riad, I made XYZ. I made 10,000. I made 14,000. I made 13 million. Maybe you won't be able to give me a number, but you can certainly tell me what happened in the beginning of the year, what happened in the middle of the year, and what happened at the end of the year. You can give me your story. And so what we're doing today is identifying the story of your company. I want to ask you a question. If you had to describe to me in words, like let's say you see me when you're 27, in like 12 years, Miss Riad, guess what? I opened up this company and last year, fill in the blank. Tell me what happened with your company. 30 seconds in your group, talk to each other. What happened in your company this last year? Go. I love what I'm hearing. I love that you guys are actually putting stories to it. I love it. Dillinger, give me a story, please.
We made over $3 million and then we went bankrupt.
Oh, that's actually a great description. We made a lot of money, something happened, Ms. Riad, and then we just kind of lost it all. Okay? Jason, what's your story?
We sold things, and then they became very profitable. Then somebody school.
Oh my gosh, what a great idea. He's saying we made some item and then somebody took our idea, duplicated what we made, and we lost money. What a great story. How about over here in group 3? Anybody in group 3?
Made a lot of money, and then when we reached our peak, we tried to expand, and it didn't work, so then it kind of broke.
Yeah, tried to make more money and then we ended up losing it. Can I have one more from group 1? Even if it sounds exactly the same, I want to hear it. Go ahead. Don't be afraid to sound repetitive. Go.
So we ended up making approximately 10,000,
Mm-hmm.
and then we went into like
An economic slump and you plummeted. That's all great stories. All right? Now I have a question for you. What's something realistic in real life that is an item that would sell not so well in the beginning of the year? What months are beginning of the year? January, February. And then would skyrocket in the middle of the year. But then, don't yell it out, think. And then by the end of the year, that product isn't really gonna sell. There's so much I can think of. What products really do sell well in the middle of the year? 3 people, 4, 5, 6. Think about what months are in the middle of the year. 7, 8. Do you really want to say that out loud? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, like summer stuff?
Summer stuff, like what?
Like pool noodles and like
What's the last thing you said? Yeah, so like bathing suits and stuff, that's great because that's all stuff are you going to buy a bathing suit in January?
no.
Maybe not. Probably not. Right? Are you going to buy, what else is summer gear?
Sunscreen.
Ice cream. Oh, but ice cream in the winter. Ice cream with cereal. You guys ever had that? Oh my God. We're going to have ice cream cereal days. Remember?
Oh my god.
Yes. You guys? You guys never had ice cream with like cones? Like ice cream cones?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Come on. Yes, you have.
Everyone's had that.
Yes. So everyone's had that, right? So it's the same thing except you crumble your cone up and you just put it on top of your ice cream. So the stuff that they use to make a cone is the same stuff they use to make cereal. You know that, right?
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Mind blown. So we're gonna have ice cream cereal days in here. Trust me, it's so delicious, so yummy. Anyways, I would have to disagree that ice cream would be a product that matched this story, because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, do you not buy ice cream in January and February? Bravo. It's so good. Like, literally ice cream all year, all day, every day. Which, what does shakes have? Don't shakes have ice cream in it? Right? Good. So, sandals, bikinis, and we talked about, bathing suit wear. Anything else? Yes, sir?
Vibrant colored clothes.
Yes, we always wear like bright colors. Very good. You probably, not that you don't wear bright colors in January, but people usually wear like warm clothing, and that's usually in like grays and blacks and browns. Not that it's always that way, because I know I have a bright red jacket, but I don't wear it very often. I usually wear my warm clothing. That's usually fall colors. I saw a hand over here.
The year you buy like kiddie pools.
I'm sorry, what is that?
Like kiddie pools.
Oh yeah, like pools and stuff. Yeah, what were you gonna say, Dillinger? Did you have your hand up?
Forgot what to say.
I'll come back to you. Yes, sir? Wrapping paper. But what is probably really heavily used? Isn't that like down here in December? Isn't that when you're gonna buy the most wrapping paper? Right? So you're right. I'm glad that you caught that. I'm actually really glad when you share your ideas, even if they're not right on the money, because even a wrong answer or a totally not incorrect answer will lead to the discussion of the right answer. Which is why in here you never like, oh my God, sorry, Mr. Riad, I was wrong. Never apologize for being wrong. I'd rather you give me a wrong answer that we can work together to get to the right answer. It's when you say nothing. When you say like, then I can't work from that. So you have to give me some sort of response. Yes, babe.
I don't know if it's a specific item, but I know when people buy Christmas presents, a lot of them return it. So, like, if a lot of people buy something, then it's still.
So this is what I think Dillinger is saying. Correct me if I'm wrong. that like you don't really buy Christmas gifts in the beginning, and that you might buy it in the middle of the year? Is that what you're saying? Or return them by the middle of the year?
Like after Christmas.
After Christmas? So like, because remember, this means June, July, August, like towards the middle of the year.
Oh.
Or maybe May, June, July. Yeah?
I like to about like January.
Yeah, no, January's right here.
June's in the middle, right?
Yeah, June's in the middle.
I don't know.
All right, so now your friend also has a company. It's going to be your job to describe to me how your company and your friend's company had the same story. What about your stories are the same? And it might be easier for you to first find out what they have different so that you can describe what they have in common. So before you yell at anything out, I would love for you to think on your own, and when you're ready to give me one description of what your stories have in common, please raise your hand. One person. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can't opt out in here. Thank you. 8. What do your friend and your friend's company and your company have in common? Jason, go ahead.
They both have no more knowledge.
Good. They both end up on the end of the spectrum to be having no profit. Good job. What did you think, Benjamin?
After the peak, the money went down.
Good. They both. What is another way of saying money going down in math language? Good. Decreasing. Both of these graphs decrease after. What did you call this point?
Peak.
The peak. What's another word for peak in a graph? Starts with an M. M-A. M-A, if I give you this letter, you'll know M-A-X. Maximum. So the maximum of a graph is the peak, right? So don't they both have a maximum?
Yeah.
I have a question. Who made more money at the maximum?
Neither.
Friends.
It's about the same, right? So another thing they have in common is they have about the same amount of money. Now, like slightly different, okay? But in general, you and your friend made about the same amount of money. Yes, sweetheart.
I think maybe for your friend I made a little less because instead of going straight up, it's kind of going straight and going up.
So that's going to be a difference. Can you ask me that question in exactly 15 seconds? Ready? Wait, don't time me. Don't time me. Yes, babe.
Are you saying that one friend and then your friend both are CEOs of a company?
Yeah,
Then you guys are gods.
I know. That's you. That's you guys in 12 years. Don't forget about your favorite teacher in 12 years. Okay? Remember me. Remember when I'm like, can you donate some pencils? Can you bring me some composition books for my kids? Remember me. Yes, sir?
Wait, wouldn't your friend's company make more money because it's like rounded at the top and instead of paying a straight tip?
So that's exactly the same type of question that we had earlier. So can you hold on to that? Can I have one more similarity? If you're telling me that after the maximum it decreased, what happened before the maximum? They both what? Increased, right, Jacob? They both increased before the maximum and they both decreased after the maximum. So this is what I'm expecting to see on tonight's homework. You're going to be given 2 graphs and I need you to write this down. You're going to tell me what they have in common. So you're going to say both graphs increase from the left. Then they both reach the same maximum. I'm going to have Lorenzo come around and make sure we're writing this down. I'm writing this for you, not for me. Then decrease. If you can't read something, I'm sure Lorenzo can read it for you. I'll read it again, one more time. Both graphs increase from the left, reach the same maximum, then decrease. So tonight's homework, you only have to tell me what they have in common, but I really want to talk about in class what they don't have in common. I love that the gentleman in the back brought it up to me. And like you guys just said, they basically have the same start and the same end. They both started with no money, and they both ended with
No money.
no money. Hopefully that will not be your story when you're 27. Hopefully you'll be balling. I'm just saying, in this story, it's the same start and the same end. Now, another thing that I need us to go over is something about both functions are continuous. Don't yell it out, but who can tell me what continuous means? When something is continuous. 1, 2 hands, 3 hands, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stephen, what does it mean to be continuous? Keeps going. Is there ever a time that you shut down business because you went to Jamaica for 2 weeks? No. Your graph keeps going. There's no breaks in the graph. So that means it's continuous. Everybody with me? Question, don't yell it out. What's the opposite of continuous? Don't yell it out. 1, 2 hands. The opposite of continuous. 3 hands. The opposite of continuous. Good. Jeremiah, what do you think?
It doesn't keep going.
Very good. It does not keep going? Does keep going? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
It
Does not? Okay, got it. Does not keep going. What's the word that means that it's the opposite of continuous? Yes, sir. Take a stab at it. Stop. Stops, okay. Benjamin, what do you think? Remember, if you give me an answer, I can work with it. Even if it's wrong, that's okay. It breaks, it stops, it breaks. Dillinger? Discontinuous. Very good. The opposite of continuous is discontinuous. So, on tonight's homework, ladies and gentlemen, you're actually going to use a different word, and some of you may have heard it last year. It's called discrete. Raise your hand if you've heard the word discrete before. Nicely done. Now we finally know what it means. Discrete means not continuous. That means you see a graph and all of a sudden there's a big old gap. You're like, yo, what happened from August to September? I was in Jamaica. Okay, so there's nothing that happened then. So it's like a break in your graph. Tonight's homework, you will have to identify if your graphs are continuous or discontinuous. You will have to identify if it's increasing or decreasing. You will model your answers from this example. If you're ever unsure about, Miss Riad, I don't even know what you're asking me on tonight's homework. What did I put on remind last week about what to check? I think I actually put it again last week, again this week. How can I know what the answers are supposed to look like? What do I look on? Google Classroom. Nicely done. So you go on Google Classroom, and then I always give you at least one answer. Then you look at that answer and you're like, oh, this is what she wants. Then I can do it. Or I look at the notes. I don't know how to do tonight. Look at the notes. Look at the notes, you'll know exactly what I need for the homework. Okay? All right, here's example 2. Oh, wait. You guys thought you were going to, you thought. Remember you told me you were going to tell me about the differences? What's the only difference between these two? You guys both said it. Who heard what Jason said?
Rounded.
Go ahead, Jacob.
It's curved.
What's curved?
Max.
Yeah, so this is like, boom, made my money, boom, lost my money.
So slowly losing money.
This means I'm slowly, not as fast as my friend. This means I'm getting there, just not as quickly. But I ended up getting there. And then I lost it, but not as quickly. Okay? Y'all with me? All right, let's try another one. Example 2. Let's say that these two are a story. And I need you to use your highlighters because I need them to stand out against your Cartesian plane. This is called the Cartesian plane. Let's say your stories this time describe your grades for your 9th grade or 10th grade year, whatever grade you're in, or 11th grade, or 12th grade, or 12 plus 2 grade for me. I'm gonna zoom in so y'all can see. Let's say this describes how you started off And this is description of how you end it. Don't worry too much about the quadrants. This is how you started off, and this is how you ended. So let's say this is the beginning of the year. How'd you start off? Not so hot, right? Kind of starting in the negatives, you forgot to turn stuff in, you didn't go to do extra credit, kind of started not on the right foot. But then look where you end up. You end up at the same place as your friend. Let's call this you and your friend. Do you guys end up at the same place? Yeah, pretty much. But is your journey the same?
No.
Absolutely not. Let's talk about each one of the journeys. Let's say this is your journey right here. If you could give me a story for your journey, don't yell it out. What could it be? Let's see one hand. 2. What would this be? What would be the story? Dillinger's, Could you tell me a story for this? What does this mean? Beginning of your year, end of your year. Annette, what do you think?
I think that you started off bumpy and like you kept on going through the year, but you still have your ups and downs, but you still made it through.
That is a great story. So you start off kind of rocky, then you like do well, but then you, I don't know, knock down just a little bit. But then you persevere and you get up even more. But then, dang it, I got sick that week, so I went back down. But then I went back up again because I'm determined to keep on going. So even though I'm getting knocked down a little bit, in the end, my end goal is reached. This is a very realistic story to describe what could happen to you in your school year. That ups and downs will happen, and that's okay, right? As long as you don't stay down. As long as you don't stay in that mistake for 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, which is what sounds like might describe your friend. Look at your friend's journey. He pretty much started off with you, right? Same place? Not so hot, forgot to turn stuff in. But then the difference is, what did he do for like half the year? Go, Jaden, what do you notice? Like literally no growth. Do you see that? And then all of a sudden, he just decided to finally do his stuff. Now this is a story of what most of you hope will happen in your life. That you're just gonna wake up one day and be like, I feel like being successful today. I feel like turning in work. And the reality of that is not as real as the first one. Because the reality is you're not just going to wake up one day and be like, I understand math completely. I understand English completely. That's not as realistic. Do you see it? Do you see that this is not as realistic? Right? I'm not saying it's not possible, because sometimes people do turn it around, but not this quickly. Right? Sometimes they need like a few months to adjust, then their grades are showing. But very rarely am I going to get F, D and be like, oh, A. Like, it's not as realistic. So let's do what we do for tonight's homework. We are going to describe what they have in common. If you're not sure what I want, you need to reference back to example 1 so that you'll know what I'm asking for. I'm asking for increasing and decreasing. I'm asking for maximums. I'm asking, is it same start, same end? And I'm asking if the functions are continuous. I need everybody to look at example 1. Everybody looking at it? That's what you're going to tell me for example 2. All right, example 1, Moses, do you see how it says both graphs increase, blah, 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 blah? All right, you're going to tell me if that's true for example 2. Do both graphs increase from left to right? I love the fact that you said but do they increase from left to right? Perfect. So that's what they have in common. Moses, if I asked you for what they had different, then you would say but blah, blah, blah. So let's just talk about what they have in common. Is that fair for tonight? You're just going to tell me what they have in common. So Jeremiah, what did Moses say? Both graphs what? Yeah. Moses, say it again because I don't think Jeremiah caught you. Both graphs?
Both of them do go from left to
Very good. What did he say?
Both go left to right.
Yes, both graphs increase from left to right. The next thing we talked about, the maximums. Do both you and your friend pretty much end up at the same spot? So Luisa, do both graphs have the same maximum? Good. Both graphs have the same maximum with the same maximum.
So,
Jacob just said it. Same start and same end?
okay.
Same start, same end? Jason, same start, same end?
Yes.
Okay. Same start, same end. Here comes Lorenzo. Make sure you're writing this right. Lorenzo, I need you to pass out those books, please, to each person. And then the last thing, is it continuous or discontinuous? Did you like go to Mexico real quick for like 2 months to go to like, did you drop out of school? Did you discontinue your career at school? Do you see a break in your graph somewhere? Let me show you what discontinuous would look like. Take another color out so you could see. Discontinuous would look like this. Boom, boom. Look, there's a break. Do you see that? Do you guys see how there's a break in your graph? Or it could look like this. Take out a color in another color, you guys. Do this with me. Discontinuous could also look like this. Oh my God, that's like 15 breaks. That's like you went to school, went home for 5 days. Went to school, went home for 5 days. That's what that is. So in tonight's homework, you're going to say discontinuous if you see either one of those. I would love to answer a question right now. I would love to answer. Ask me a question. Please ask me a question. Don't make me pick on you. Jaden, ask me a question. Even if you don't know the answer, just ask me. Just ask me a question. Maybe somebody has the same question, even if you already know the answer. About your homework. I'm not asking you what number LeBrat's going to be. Ask me a specific question about the vocabulary. Go ahead, Amelia.
How would you know which graph to draw?
Good. So in tonight's homework, that's what I want you to look at. Everybody take a book. Turn to page 7. Amelia asked, how do you know which one to draw? Beautiful thing is, I'm actually giving you the graph. So turn to page 7. And the last thing I need to show you is how to tell if one of the graphs is a function. But do you guys see how the graphs are already done for you?
Yeah.
So that answers your question, right, Amelia? The graphs are already done for you. All right, the last thing that we need to go over is to tell if something is a function or not. So I need everybody to hold up their pencil straight up in the air vertically like this. Hold up their pencil. Let me see it. Let me see it. Let me see it. Good. Keep it up. Keep it up. That's not straight. No. Yeah, it has to be straight. The way you're going to know if your don't put your hand down. Watch me. The way you're going to move your hand with me, okay? The way you're going to know if your function is a function is to do a vertical line test. That means if your graph hits your pen more than once, it is not a function. So let me just give me 15 more seconds. You're going to need to stop this. See how when I draw my pen through, it does not hit my pen more than once? And I think it's easier to see if you turn the page and show you what is not a function. Look at 42. Look at my pen. Doesn't it hit it twice at the same time? So this is not a function.
That's on page 12.
The next page, yeah. You guys see this?
I don't have 42 on page 12.
Okay, I'll find it for you. So if you do this, you're going to find and see that it actually hits it twice. Do you guys see how it hits it twice right here? Then it's not a function. I'll put a video up tonight on the vertical line test. I love you guys so much. Have a blessed day. I'll see you tomorrow.